How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Factorio. Hope you guys have been enjoying the series so far. If you guys have, you guys know what to do. Smash that like button. And if you have any questions or comments, concerns, or anything else, leave that down below. And with that, let's get to the episode. So, we are starting to set up some outposts for scrap. In particular, this one has 67 million, so it should be fairly useful for us for quite some time. As you can see, I'm filling every nook and cranny on this island with either mining drills or capacitors, so that way we can make sure that we have full coverage of just about everything. Thankfully, with the amount we have a good storage of things to maintain the drills even with speed modules. And what's really impressive too is these big drills that we get from Volcanus, 17.6 scrap per second. So just 2 drills with speed modules on one side of the belt is able to fill one whole side. So what I have here is 4 and then some, and then these guys down here are feeding into these 2 bottom lanes. So this train should maintain itself fairly frequently with efficiency. I did set these up to be that's a problem. These trains are 1 by 4 by 1. This train is a 1 by 2 by 1. Oops. Okay, so probably what I'll have to do, and I did it in our multiplayer world as well, is I set up basically a train swapperoo station where smaller trains fed into a larger train, because how we had it on our world is instead of having a bunch of separate trains, we just had one really long train. It was like a 3 by 12 by 3 or something. Some crazy amount of train. We're not going to do that in this world. Instead, we're going to utilize smaller trains so that way we can get them onto islands like this without having too much of a requirement footprint-wise. And then we'll probably have to have not a balancer, but just a train exchange of sorts. Okay. So, with that in mind, we need to plan that out then. Oh yeah. So we have a main line that's running here. We have another branch running this way. Okay. Okay, well then perhaps it would make sense. Let's actually go into map mode here for a second. Perhaps it would make sense if we extend the main line like so. Because then what I might be able to do is I might be able to take the 242s that are going into the actual depot down here, and instead of having them run in/on the main line, have them run on essentially a private line. Oh, we don't have rail. I'm like, why didn't it place? Okay, we need to grab rail then. Let's go do that. Let's grab some rail so that way we can continue our journey. Why are the robots? Repair packs. Oh, I can't make any. I don't have anything on me for them. Because then ideally we can start getting this to work. And also in between episodes, I did set up... I think we have radar coverage, yeah. So I did start setting up the required science and things, as well as some of the fluid. So for instance, this is ready to go, it just needs water. So I have to set up the ice smelting, and we're going to use most of this area for that. And then science will go here, and then likely we'll have rockets here. I know these are passive providers, but what I'm thinking is I don't like the distance from here to down here, so I think we're going to have to build a storage area somewhere over here, and then go from there. And then we might also need a recycler to get rid of any excess stuff in the system. I'll have to see how we're gonna do it. I need to see how much science this can produce running like this, and then if it's enough, awesome, because the goal is 1,000 per minute, which should be fairly doable on this planet. The biggest thing is just going to be getting enough scrap to feed the system, because the Holmium ore, it needs like an incredible amount of scrap to sort through, because it's only like a 1% chance to get... Oh, I didn't want you to take that from me, but thank you, robots. I appreciate your very quickness to eat everything out of my inventory. Alright, so we need to grab ourselves some more train track, which I don't see where they are. Are we making it? I don't think we're making it. Okay, so then let's go ahead and plop one of these. This guy's gonna change to be rail. There we go. Then no limit. That's fine. Okay. Let's also go ahead and get ourselves... like that. And that'll double our capacity there. I do want to have a little bit more than that. A little bit more than that. And same thing here. A little bit more. Wow, stone's actually an issue. What do we get stone from on this planet? Or is it not part of the filters? No, okay. Oh no, yeah it is. We do get stone from it. It's just, it is a lower percentage. I have it set up so that the lowest percentage goes here, the higher percentages goes all the way down. Yeah, we just don't have any stone. But that's partially because we don't have... These guys have all run dry. We're still sorting through what little bit we have in terms of backlog of things. Alright, we'll run what little bit of scrap we have. The system's gonna quickly turn off because like this has a very high throughput for a very good reason. Yeah, like a little bit of stone. So oh yeah, so we're probably gonna need to actually request some. Okay, good, we're still on novice. I need a lot of rail. Let's go ahead and request, I don't know, 10,000 rail. That seems reasonable to me. And then I don't know, maybe 100 more substations. And let's go 500 of those. Let's see, is there anything else that we... well, we're making bulk inserters here. This should be fine, because everything else we should be able to produce here just fine. Alright, so those are gonna slowly build and then show up. In the meantime, let's at least try to get one of these scrap trains functioning. Because if we can get one of them functioning, then everything else can function. Because otherwise the robots are gonna... I'm just trying to think travel-wise. So we're probably gonna have to set up a storage depot a little bit further south for the robots to move things into. Is my only thought. Okay. So if we head up here... let's go ahead and throw a lightning rod down just so we don't get zapped while we're up here. Alright. So what we could probably do... well, actually, let's connect this up. Because what I'm thinking is the larger not two, 141 trains can pass underneath this island, and we could probably use, we can have these rails, although they're all at the same height, likely have them eventually go on the ground on that island, so they'd pass underneath the larger sections. Let's actually try to get up on. Alright. So then what we could maybe do... something like that. Do something like that. Oh yeah. Because what I'm thinking is this. So... perfect. Oh yeah. There's definitely some room for... the problem is I can't make it go any further without it causing some issues, huh? Alright then. Let me remove this guy. That works. Just need to get visual range. Okay. I don't like that it did that, because that's not how I want that. Because I don't want this to go through that, because then this creates the same block, and we don't want them to be the same block. Okay, that works. There we go. Okay. So now we have a loop that should work. This area is going to require some interesting signaling, but it should be fine. So ideally, what we have is we have the inbound trains coming here, the outbound trains going there. We still have to figure out where we're going to put some things on this island. Thankfully, it's an already empty island for the most part. The only issue, actually, it's not the only issue, but it's a fairly large issue, is we need essentially 3 of these depots here, but also smaller depots to get these trains loaded. I can't believe I didn't look at that when I was designing this last night. I guess that's what happens when you're playing Factorio at like 2 a.m. is I think when I was doing it. Okay, so we need to find... I could just use a different island, which is a possibility, but then that requires more track, which we don't currently possess. Because ideally, this was intended for us to have upwards of 9 trains, or just a lot of trains for high throughput, but I can't really have a bunch of 242, or I don't know why I'm saying 242s. They're not 242s, they're 141s. A bunch of 141s that would be running from here to here, because we would need a similar layout to this. And although we can put it here, we can definitely fill it. The only, again, not the only issue. One of the issues is not only would I have to have these stations, I'd also have to have these stations for loading and unloading. Essentially what we need. Let's just get... Okay. Essentially what we'd have to have is we'd have to have a train here. We can't have it too close because we can't just direct insert. Because the tracks are on multiples of 2, and we need an odd number in order to load them. So even if we did something like this, we would then have to have... Oh, not that. We'd have, say, chest, belt. So that's 1, 2, 3. Then we can do this. That'd still be odd, so we'd have to have essentially this. Something dumb like that. And really, we could cut it down. If we want to have it really containerized, we could get rid of this. Make it this. Get rid of this. Maybe something like that, just so that it exists. But then the issue becomes, okay, so we have this for these two. And then we'd have to have... essentially something similar. Because we'd have to stagger them. So we'd have to have something like that to load it. I mean, it could work. Don't get me wrong, it could definitely work. But then, okay. Is this wider or narrower than a single? Also, I wanted to make a comment about the music on Flagora. It reminds me of how it's made. I get weird, just that soundtrack in my mind. It is narrower. It very much is narrower than this design. For one, and we saw we can fit 3. It is possible then. Okay. So maybe it is doable. Because these guys would only need to insert basically into this. Now the problem, however, does become a loading and unloading time, because traditionally we do two-sided, which, okay. Hear me out. We could still do a two-sided. So we do something like this. We'll go underneath for that. It is just long enough. Okay. And then these end ones we have to turn in so it doesn't accidentally split onto itself. And it's able to fit within the space. Okay, so we could still double load it then. Or double... I say double load. But dual side unload and dual side load the same car. So then we wouldn't lose any efficiency from that. Flip. Okay. So then, how wide of a berth are we at here? Still under. We actually save by 1 unit. Or 1 tile on each side. So it's still narrower. Okay. Interesting. So now we just have the issue of getting the tracks correctly. So I'm almost wondering then, if we take the main line... Oh, sorry for the yawns. I'm wondering if we take the main line, we go up and around, right? So we take this whole line here, we shift it up to here, so that way the little bullet trains come in from the top, and the 141s, I remembered it this time, come in from the bottom, giving us a little bit more room maneuvering between the sides, because these guys are going to take the biggest chunk, because otherwise what's going to happen, right? So we're going to just do this. So we are going to need this to go as far over to the left as we can. So, I don't know, something like that. Pretty ample. Okay. Because I should just be able to do this. Because I can stack them. Because there's still room for the tracks. Wow, we can... You know what? We can even load 4. It's... not likely, but it's... possible. Well, actually, no, because they're going to be omnidirectional. So no, we could have 4 loading stations on this island. Okay. So say we do that. Are the trains not marked for deconstruction? That's entirely possible. Okay. So we do something like this. Looks very crazy, I know, I know. That actually should be fine. Ooh, we need to figure out where power poles go in this, which actually shouldn't be too difficult. I say that, but they could be quite difficult. Substation. You know what? Substations kind of solve a lot of the problems. Okay. What's funny is I'm basically doing a lot of trains both in this and in Satisfactory, so anybody who's been watching the Satisfactory playthrough, which I'm recording literally right after this, full of trains. Like, the amount of train stuff we've been doing is crazy, but it's necessary. Because if you want to have scale, the only real way is either belts across the world or trains, which allow you to have a little bit better and more modular setup. So, that's kind of just what we're going for. Okay. Yeah, so we can just use these guys then to do things. Because, yeah, see, we can set a substation. So that actually works out really well. Okay, cool. So, I do want to at least get part of this set up, and then in between episodes, we'll get other things set up. I don't have any more track, unfortunately. Like, I have tons of these, but I don't have any track. Okay, so I think we are going to get rid of this section of track. So because these guys are omnidirectional... Ah, don't eat all my track, you little gremlins. Okay. So then this is the input side. And then this is the output side. So then we... Ooh, this is going to be difficult. Alt F, so we turn off our robots. It's going to be difficult, but I think it's going to be exciting. Because the other option, the only other option, is we have pass-through. But then, yeah, this station won't work as a pass-through station. It actually might not even work now as a whatchamacallit station. We might actually have to... Because I didn't put the train stations down, so I don't know how things are going to line up. Yeah, see. We're going to have to probably shift things. That's fine. That does not... I kind of hate how it's like that. It's like, yeah, grumble, but whatever. We'll just have to move all of the components up one tile, which is fine. Okay. Or down one tile. Probably down one tile, because we can shift everything down. Okay, but still. So say we did that here. Yeah, we can't get this turned tight enough. We could do here, so if we shifted it down 2 rails, we could get it up here, but the problem becomes we'd have all these tracks. So, other solution scenario is... Oh, that's right, because there's one here. So it looks something like this. Because then it's skip 1. Wait, what? No. This guy gets it, this one gets it, this one doesn't get it, this one gets it, this one gets it, this one doesn't, this one skip. Okay, so like that. So these would be all the trains going in. See, because then we could have an outbound this way. Interesting. And then up here... Okay. Obviously, the only issue is these guys can't go anywhere. So what if instead that would work? It's definitely an interesting design, that's for sure. I don't know how successful this will end up being. Big skip. So this one gets it, this one gets it, this one does not. This one gets it. Okay, cool. Yeah, see, because either way, there's no certifiable way that I can get track on this side, so this won't work quite like that. So we'd have to have Omni loading and unloading. Okay. So then, it might make sense for us to repurpose part of this line here to then have, right, one more. Because then what we can do is we can have it come in like this. Because it would come in and then back out the same way. Yeah. Okay, so that's probably how we're going to do it. So I think that's what we're going to call it for today. I'm going to continue kind of working through this process. I think on Monday is when I have time. I'm going to work on trying to figure out this train situation. Let me know if you guys have any good designs for train-to-train loading, especially on Flagora with tight spaces like this, as well as with the new tiered rail system. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Other than that, oh, I am a robot on repeat today. Wow. Have a good rest of you guys' day. I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one, and peace out.